Move along, first of all, up on this Monday night, and we're delighted to welcome local band, Kessler Effect. How you doing, lads?
All right. Good. Yeah.
You just all right, just all right.
We're not too bad.
He's not all excited to be on the radio.
Delighted. Sure, you know yourself.
I'm really joking. Listen, thanks for calling up. It's great to see you. And I'd say the Kessler Effect. I said Letterkenny based. Jimmy said Ballabofey, but you're in between.
We're in between, basically. Yeah, we're kind of based in Drumkeen.
Drumkeen, you took the
based
word.
in Drumkeen, so you couldn't be more in the middle, really.
Took the words out of my mouth. So with Paul and Nigel, yourself, Ben and Michael. And Michael, you were up last week.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't
the same, but last week because I wasn't here. Oh, I have to thank Paul Buckley. Paul Buckley stepped in last week as executive producer. And we'll have to get him sorted out with his wages, put him down as executive producer. But anyway, thanks, Paul. You've done a great job. And pity you weren't busy this week. You could have come up as well. But anyway, the Kessler Effect. First of all, Nigel, how long are you together?
With the four of us together now since 4 years, 2018, since we got together. But myself and Paul here have been playing music together since we were nearly teenagers. We were 2000 and whatever it was. We were about 15 odd years. I know we've been playing music together, like so. And then sure, Ben and Paul are brothers, like so. He used to play along with us at times as well, like. But you know, the band has kind of come and gone over the years, if you want to put it that way. Like you know, it's from what it was. We had two lads that used to play along with us, and then the band kind of stopped for what was it, 2 or 3 years in a way, and then. When it came back together, then
was that to do with the COVID thing too? Was it no?
No, that was just laziness
and honesty. So COVID had nothing to do with it at all.
No, not at all. No, well, COVID put an end to us playing for a while as well. Obviously, like everyone else, you know. But
everybody's right. Right, I tell you what, we're going to go into a piece of music first to start with, anyway, lads. So, first song up, Nigel.
Yes, first song up is actually the first song off our latest EP, if you like, and it got its first play by Mr. Jimmy there. He just left the room before he got to hear it again because he was sick of it and hearing it.
So. No, he's there now.
This one's called Be Free.
And it's written by yourselves?
It's written by ourselves.
Brilliant. Well, when you're ready.
Yep, no bother at all. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're the only one that's left to make your way up to the sky above, embrace the love. You turn around, you've opened up, showed the world about it all, and how you're not afraid to show yourself what you've become. While through it all, you've had a ball. You've seen the ups and downs, roundabouts of life's regrets, to not consent to what it takes to make some sense, to think in present tense, must not forget to comprehend future events, take stock, consider, and don't pretend you know how to have a ball. It's time you let your mask slip down. Be free, let it go. It takes some time to prepare yourself, the toughest test, to lift yourself up to a place where you become the honest one. Don't fight it down, don't let it get you down. Embrace the test, lest you forget the worst of it. It's never what you make of it. You know how to have a ball. It's time you let that mask let down.
brilliant.
Thank you.
Just somebody texted and said there's a great Beatles vibe going through that, and I was getting that myself.
It's not the first time we heard it, and like, no, myself and Paul particularly would be big Beatles fans, like, you know.
Right. Okay.
But it's not something I ever said would have influenced the music in any way. To put it that way, but
Well, it's coming across, isn't it? And it's a nice vibe,
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, that complimentary. Brilliant sounds, amazing. Kathleen says, love it. Ren Marabou.
There's the man himself, yeah.
Class stuff, lad. Very George Harrison. Love it. Great
again,
stuff.
that's something we've heard, yeah.
And Margaret McClintock says, Michael still likes country music.
No, he does not.
Somebody get the diggage there, Michael. So, the EP, that's from the EP.
That's from the EP.
The current EP.
Current EP.
When did you bring that in May?
That went out in May, yeah. Right. So we must have. When did we start recording that? It must have been February-ish, I think.
Yeah, I think I got the initial tracks down around February.
We got the tracks down around February, yeah.
March is when it really kicked into gear.
Yeah.
Where did you do that yourselves?
I have a studio at home, so I was able to put her together there. So
good stuff. Many tracks are on that.
There's
five,
yeah.
total,
And they're all originals, all your own.
Yeah.
So I always ask people this: when you sit down, do you sit down with a pile of songs first, or do you sit down and say we're going to write 5 songs for this? Or do you have them? No,
not at all.
No.
This EP was meant to be 3 songs, and then it's one of the things where you just keep going, and that's kind of what happened. Things just kind of flow naturally at that.
So you're inspired by the Beatles. Anybody else sort of would be on your list?
How long have you got, really? There's in terms of songwriting stuff for me, older prog music is where I get my influence from. King Crimson and Pink Floyd and that sort of stuff is my big influence in terms of songwriting and even what I listen to, even still on a daily basis. Like, but again, you could be listening to it, like when I'm in the car, Duane's in the backseat, it could be throw on this or throw on that, and it doesn't matter. I could just put on whatever random playlist and whatever comes on, and I'll enjoy it anyway. Like, so I have no real.
No.
If someone says what music are you into, it's just music.
Whatever it is, I get that, because I see myself. I couldn't define myself what I like. You know what I mean? And something you would like today and you might like tomorrow. But the songwriting, is it just yourself, Nigel? Does
no, not at all. It's very much a collaborative effort. Like, you know, it's. You know, there's been songs before that's been written entirely around the bass line where, you know,
just whatever.
When he's not listening, you know, most bands will tell you that, you know, the bass fills in the sound, but for us, it's very much it's a front runner. Like, you know, it's that sort of thing. You know, so songs can be written around a bass line, can be written around a guitar, can be written around anything. Like, you know, so it's good. It all comes together.
Tell me this: you have a video out next week.
Yeah, well, in the next week or two, anyway. We haven't nailed down a date for it because we're.
Have you
it's all done. It's all finished and produced by a good friend of ours, White Crow Media, Aaron McGee, who does stellar work for us. He does a lot of photography and design work and stuff as well for us. So he's between him and our EP designs and logo design and all is done by Darren Roddy and Dundalk. So there's a lot of you know, creative forces behind it, but Aaron has produced the video for us, so he's
there's a serious element to this too, as you know, you're talking about the video, and you're talking about, you know, the designs and stuff. It's just not a matter of getting it out and getting it out. Look, it's important to you, the video.
Yeah, you know, we're all in our mid-30s and early 40s. Point. You know, at this stage, we're not you know, you're not young fellas going, so we're going to make it, we're going to do this, and we're going to tour the world, and we're, you know, it's a passion project. We enjoy doing it, you know, but you have to still show a bit of pride in your work, if you like.
Definitely.
So you know, how you look is
that's important.
You know, maybe not physically.
No, well,
you know,
like a lot of work there now.
How you look on the internet can be
hey, what do you call it, airbrushing or whatever you call it, you know. But gigs and stuff, do you play much?
Look, we must play 4 or 5 gigs a year is about what we do. Like, you know,
there's some money in that thing.
I would like to say so. Some money for us to pay to do it. No, look, we play around where we can. Like, you know, it's not a case of, we'll say, we're booking a tour to, you know, Southern Europe today, or to return UK or Ireland, whatever. Like, we play a couple of gigs here and there. Like, now we've planned now to do a few coming up in October now. We haven't all nailed down yet, but we're planning to do a couple around Galway and Dublin and that there. And
Okay.
your mini Irish tour, if you like, around October time, but we haven't got the dates just nailed down for it
And
yet.
sort
but
of selected venues.
selected venues with selected people that are allowed in as well.
Well, you see, I suppose that's the way it is now, isn't it? But the good thing about every style of music has got a venue now that caters for it. I find, you know,
Yeah, big
you
time.
can't go far wrong.
No, well, like even you don't have to go too far down the road. Letterkenny even has it there. You know,
Exactly.
Certain venues are labeled as certain types of music and this sort of thing.
But it's great. It's brilliant.
It's good, like, but it's nice to see. Like, put it this way. The cottage down there in Letterkenny wouldn't have been associated as a rock bar for many years. It would have been associated as your little quiet pub. But down this last year or two, especially since coming back from COVID, there's been endless amounts of gigs down there. And it's fantastic to see, but more diversity, if you like, in it. So,
And do you think that COVID sort of do that? Maybe people go here. I want to hear different stuff now.
I do think it was definitely a factor in it that for years, people were kind of, will I go, won't I go, will I, won't I? But then once you're locked inside for 2 years, not able to do anything, so you're damn happy to get out and go to whatever bar is showing, whatever type of music at any time. Like so.
Right. So brilliant. Right, another track for you, from you, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
And this one is
It's from the new EP as well.
Yep.
This one it was originally meant to be an instrumental, but kind of the last minute it was like, let's throw some lyrics on there because there was a friend of ours passed away earlier the year. He was a local electronic musician himself, Shaman Deli. He went under the name Angus Friel, and he sort of was the inspiration behind the lyrical content here. So he often talked about this thing that was going to get you in your sleep. It was called the tightening. So it was basically this, I don't know, what do you call it, like sleep paralysis or that sort of thing, like, and these sort of demons in your head and that. So so a wee homage to him, like, was we called our song The Tightening, just a wee thing for him. So
class. Whenever you're ready there, just give her a Dixie.
Solitude between the beaten tracks, where no other faces there follow me, a place where lights are black.
love that, funny. Brilliant, brilliant. If you just tuned in, that's the Kessler Effect, and someone said that's a song that Nick Cave would be proud of.
I tell you what, one of the we played. Do you remember it, Paul? We won some. What was the competition called? Donald Kavanagh would nearly tell you. Oh, Live and Kicking, wasn't it? Live and Kicking in the Green and Theatre. You're going back 10, 12 years ago or something at this stage. And I remember there was the newspaper article came out in the Donegal News afterwards, and it compared the voice of a young Nick Cave, and I was like, I know the name, but I've never listened to the boy. and from then on, I went and started listening to him, and I was a big fan of it after that. Like so.
It's funny how you. But when I was listening to the start of it, I was getting a bit of Strangler's Golden Brown there, just running through it.
Oh, I'd be happy enough with that.
You know what I mean? And so it's when people get different things out of it, that's the main thing, you know.
That is it, yeah.
So you have many tracks in total, 7.
There's 5 on that EP.
Beg your pardon.
There's a couple of instrumentals on it because it's sort of a, if you want to say it's a concept EP. So it's, you know, the Kepler telescope was named after. So the first track on it's called Day 1. And the last track is Day 3523, which is the length of time that the Kepler telescope was in orbit or in operation for NASA in space. So
I knew that.
There you go. Right?
I'm not.
Every day's a school day.
Terence McCann says, remember this from the Baller, great riff, pure folk prog, very haunting. That's a good description, isn't it?
No, yeah, you take that, surely.
Of course, mighty stuff, as Damien said, Damien Doherty. And yeah, brilliant sounds, amazing, absolutely love it. Very George Harrison. So there you see, you know what I mean?
There you go, George.
All complimentary. What about the live album? What's the story of the live album?
The live album was when we launched this EP, if you want. We launched that in the Baller in May, the end of May, and just recorded the whole night. So we've 13 or 14 songs coming out in a live album now in September from the night. And you know, you might as well look. It's one of those things. If you have the facility and the opportunity to do it, you might as well do it. You know, because you know.
And see, when you're doing that live album, like, are you conscious of the fact it's been recorded now, or you just go for, you know?
Look, it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. You know, at the end of the day, priority on the night is your live show, because you know there's no point in playing a live show if you're just saying. Ballar's
a big one to, you know.
For me, it's one of the best venues in the northwest of the country. You know, I've worked and played in venues up and down Ireland, and it stands up to everything. Like, so, you know.
Without a doubt, I've never seen a bad gig in it, and the quality of the sound and everything's
it's top class. It's top class.
Good outfit, you see. Looking after it, that's what it's all about. So, the Kessler Effect, where'd the name come from?
You can take that one, Paul.
Yeah. So the Kessler Effect is like a theoretical kind of syndrome where there's so much debris in space that humans have created, and what happens is that eventually at some point in the future it's going to start colliding with each other slowly over time, and what happens is it kind of starts cascading, because once it starts it doesn't stop, and the idea is that it's going to wreck a lot of technology and satellites we have in space, so it would cause like a mass hysteria or panic or blackout here down on Earth. And someone mentioned to me years ago that it'd be a great name for a band. And as Nigel said, like we took a break for a couple of years, you know, around mid noughties there, and to get back together we needed something to kind of kickstart us. And I think someone mentioned the name Kessler Effect as a band name. I thought, okay, if that's going to be the name, then we need to focus more on that sort of element, that sort of space and time effect. And that's where our new sound has kind of come from. That, you know, it's kind of helped drive a lot of.
So Paul, this sound you have at the minute is different than your previous sound before you took the break.
Definitely. Like if you listen to the EP, it's very even to our previous 2 EPs I released under the Kessler Effect name, it's become more of our sound now gradually over time.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on in that when compared to like our last work, you know.
Are you happy with the sound you have now?
I am. Yeah, I like the direction. Especially there's a very distinct version of what we do live and what's recorded, and that's kind of what I think we were going for with this one, is to really do something that's very obviously recorded in a studio with all these different effects and keyboards and stuff, and then live have something different. And there's 2 kind of dynamic contrasts there, but I think it works quite well in our favor. So
it's good. That's good. You know, I'm not amazed, like, but I love the way you take it really serious. You know, really. You know, I know, but I do. You know, it's obvious that you do, because you're not just firing a tune together. You know, obviously your sound wasn't what you wanted prior to breaking up and stuff like that. But it's great that the sound you have is just amazing at the minute. Long may it last. Whenever are you on social media? What would you work at?
Oh, you're on everything you can think of, all in your Facebooks and your Instagrams and your Twitters and all of that. And you're on all the streaming sites and the Spotify and you might as well give a shout to the latest Irish one. I don't know if you've heard of it, Minim.
Oh,
There's a new Irish streaming site
how do you
called
spell that, Nigel?
Minim, N-I-M-I-N-M.
M-I-N-N.
M-I-N-M.
Right.
And that's it's basically by the artists for the artists, and it's the most fair paying thing for artists out there. No, at the end of the day, we're not racking
No,
up
but
hundreds of thousands of streams, and we're not getting paid hundreds of thousands of euro for it. Like, but it's one of those things. When you put the effort into making your music, you like to think that be appreciated a bit more rather than your 0.008 cent you get from Spotify per stream. So these guys minimum, they basically you get what you stream on there. Like, so it's
I must check that out now just to see.
no, look, it's small scale at the minute, and it's pretty much just all Irish artists, and it's,
You know, Spotify just seem to have a monopoly of
they have the monopoly on it, surely.
And
Yeah.
the thing about it is, you know, it's that old double-edged sword, you know. I have, like yourselves probably, I have thousands and thousands of CDs and stuff, you know, so I don't feel as guilty about going on it now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in saying that, it doesn't benefit. It'll definitely not benefit you financially, but
Not at all. No.
does it spread? You know, do you see a benefit on it where your music can be heard from? Do you
Yeah, look,
catch on to that?
There's a lot of analytics you can draw from.
there's a lot, yeah.
Like we have, I think since we released it on there, our reach has grown a lot. Like you can see that whenever you look at the statistics, where
Yes.
people are listening to it around the world.
Yes.
It's not just Larry County or Donegal though. It's
No.
the UK, it's the rest of Europe. Some people in
Yeah, look, it's one of those things, you know, you could argue the music we're playing is 40 years out of date. You know, the prog rock is, you know, it had its heyday in the 70s, you know, or the 80s and whatever. Like, you know, for us, a lot of, you see numbers coming in. Now, you don't see massive numbers coming in, but you see numbers coming in, and they're people from Germany, they're people from England, they're people from, you know, different parts of continental Europe, even America and this sort of thing. Like, you know, and you know, while you're not, as I said, you're not racking up tens of thousands of streams.
No.
You're seeing different people interacting.
Analyze things and work out.
you know, so-
That's a positive side of it, without a doubt. And of course, your music's going out further afield.
Yeah.
out
Well, look,
from one
I've always been very firmly of the opinion that I don't care about large numbers. I care about, you know, consistent numbers. Like, so
Yes.
it's a case of those. You had them in here recently, Expedition, the young
Yes,
metal band.
yeah.
Like I done their recording for them, and I was sitting down with them afterwards and just saying to them, you know, that, you know, you could go to a gig tonight and there might be 10 people there.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is you can get disheartened about it. You don't get disheartened about it. You play your best gig for them 10 people because you don't know who them 10 people are. And if you impress them 10 people over 300 people that don't care about you in a room,
That's right.
you're onto a winner really at that. So
That's a good point. But I think the fact that you know, would you think because you're more mature now in age that you're coming with a different sort of, you're not wanting to be stars, or you're not, you know, you haven't.
you have more
do you enjoy it
appreciation.
more?
You have more appreciation for what you're doing now,
Aye.
because, like, myself and Paul tell you loads of stories about. I was only on about it earlier on today. Do you remember when we played down in Mullingar?
I do.
Yeah, that nearly made him quit music. You know, we played a gig down in Mullingar, and we were all 20, 21, 22 years of age, and this idea is we were going around booking this tour of Ireland, and we were going to do this and that and the other.
Yeah.
We landed down to play in Mullingar in a venue down there, and look, we played a grand show for 20 or 25 people, whatever it was, and you go up afterwards and you clear out all your gear, and you go up to the bar manager or whatever and say, right, it's us now. He goes, you owe me money now for the sound man. You didn't make enough money on the door to pay the sound man, so you owe me money. Right, we're all 20, 21 years of age, barely making money, and you know, you have to tour off to find an ATM up the street at 1 o'clock in the morning to pay the place that you've just travelled 3 hours to play. You know,
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
those sort of days. Look, we look back at them now and laugh.
Laugh because it's a good story, like.
You look back on it now and you laugh, and that's all you can do. Because, like, When we get to this age now, and look, we have our families and we have our jobs and we have whatever we have, you know, that's
You're enjoying it better.
you
that's
just
better.
enjoy it and you have an appreciation for it. So
You can feel that coming back from it. Sophie loves the songs. Sophie, is that? Sophie loves the songs.
thanks, Sophie.
There you go. Right, final song for us then, lads.
Yeah. Which one will we play? We played Tacoma.
I may as well, yeah.
Right, it is an instrumental one, so people don't have to listen and be whining into a microphone now. So
No, you're dead. You're dead on.
this one is called Tacoma, and it's Tacoma is a flower, I believe.
It's not a flower, actually.
So I don't really have a story behind this, but this one is written by Paul. It's and you know.
Do you want me to explain it
He
basically?
can explain it, but when you search Tacoma on Google, you'll find a flower. So
Right.
No, it might be a flower. But it's not what it's from. Like there's a book series called The Expanse, that I'm a huge fan of, and it's all based on space exploration, and that's where a lot of the sounds in this are from. You know, there's a lot of delay and echo, creating a big atmosphere, especially on the record.
Mhm.
And Tacoma was enabled this planet or this planetary system within that world. I won't go any further into it because stuff happens there. I just thought it'd be spoiler alert. Yeah. I just thought it was a nice name for an instrumental for something I thought, set that mood quite well for what happens in the book. So
Good enough. Well, we'd love to hear this.
you started.
you can head away. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
Thank you, guys.
Pure class. Do you know when you said, Paul, about it, about a space connection there, you kind of were.
Yeah.
You know,
Actually,
just brilliant.
that's a good point. On the album, because there's so much freedom, I took a notion about a week before we were kind of finishing it up.
Uh-huh.
I thought, I wonder if we could put in some sort of, radio static or sounds from NASA. And I googled it, and it turns out that they have like a free repertoire online of, audio conversations with astronauts and stuff like this,
Class.
and like satellite launches and spaceship launches and stuff. And I thought, yeah, I'm using this. So I just grabbed a bunch of nice ones and this added into the tracks, and they sit really well on that one now on the track. I think
Brilliant,
it's
really,
nice.
really brilliant. Listen, lads, the absolute pleasure, absolute delight having you in. Thanks indeed
Thanks
for
very much
coming
for
up.
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Gigging, where can people see you about within the next year?
You have to keep an eye on all the social medias and all that there. No, as I said, we're planning to do a couple of shows in October. So we're planning Derry, Belfast, Dublin and Galway, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll probably throw in something around Letterkenny or Balfay or something.
And what is just a Kessler Effect on Facebook and
Kessler Effect,
Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all your Spotify's and iTunes and Apple and YouTube and wherever you can.
Well, like, you've got the sound, you've really, really nailed the sound. It's just pure class to listen to, and I wish you well. Paul and Ben and Nigel and Michael, thank you very, very much indeed.
Thanks very much.
Kessler Effect on Highland Radio. Thank you.
Do you need a little extra help staying in your home? At Bluebird Care, we offer a wide variety of QMark-approved personalised home care services across Donegal. And our fully trained and committed staff will always meet your care needs with kindness, compassion and dignity. To get your personal home care assessment plan, visit bluebirdcare.ie or call our care team today on 07491 29562 and bring care home.
Suffering from hearing loss? Kingsbridge Hearing Care has arrived in the northwest. Yes, we have a brand new clinic location at Kingsbridge Private Hospital in Ballykelly and can offer you a full range of hearing care provision, including enhanced hearing assessments and earwax removal treatment. So, what are you waiting for? Don't let hearing loss hold you back. Get in touch with our expert audiology team today. Call us on 048 9066 7030 or visit kingsbridgehearingcare.co.uk.
This is a notice for all tractor and agri-plant owners. Minimise your downtime when you need tyres and call Donegal Tyres Donegal Town. We can go to you and fit your tyres on site or repair your existing tyres if you have a puncture. Don't waste time and leave the hassle to us. So call Donegal Tyres now on 074 9721 482 to